So, Mark, there you are. Mark, how do you prepare for a sermon? That's a long answer. What I do is Sunday afternoon or Sunday evening, usually I will get the lectionary out to see what the coming week is. And I'll have an idea of what I want to preach on, hopefully by then. And then Monday morning I go to Blessed Hope and do the lectionary talk. And so we look more in depth at the readings for the week. And knowing that it was Reformation Sunday, I was all prepared to talk from Joel, our Old Testament prophet. Because it's a beautiful, beautiful reading where young men will dream dreams. Even our servants, our slaves will have visions of God's glory. And that's Reformation, because we seem to think Reformation Sunday, or Reformation happened 502 years ago in Germany. But I would say that God is constantly revealing His truth to us. That there's always a Reformation moment going on. Jesus, in fact, came to reform the Jewish religion. He was having his own Reformation during that time, or trying to reform the religion. God is the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow, but our understanding of God changes as God reveals more to us through these visions and dreams of the prophets. And there are prophets among us even today. Men and women who study the Word, and God reveals truth to them. So we are constantly in Reformation. I was prepared to really preach a great sermon about that. But then this question, or these questions, coming from the reading from 2 Timothy, started to grab me. These questions I really didn't want to think about. Questions like, and bear with this thought. This might have been the last writing Paul wrote. Paul was on death row when he was writing this. If you knew you were going to die tomorrow, what would you do today? That's the question that started going in my mind. Where would you spend your time? Who would you want to be with if you knew tomorrow you were dying? What things would you want to talk about if this were your last day? So suddenly, Reformation Sunday went out the window as I started going deeper into our reading from 2 Timothy. And there's a wonderful part that's left out of our lesson, and I'm going to read it to you now. Paul writes to Timothy, "Get here as fast as you can. Demas, chasing fads, went off to Thessalonica and left me here. Crescens is in Galatia province, Titus in Dalmatia. Luke is the only one here with me. Bring Mark with you. He'll be my right-hand man since I'm sending Tychicus to Ephesus. Bring the winter coat I left in Troas with Corpus. Also the books and parchment notebooks." So Paul, knowing that he was facing his last day, or his last days, gathers together those things most important to him. And he's asking these questions too. And they're difficult questions for us to answer even today. They're difficult questions in part because we don't like to think about our own death. I don't think anyone likes to think about their own death. But the truth is, death is coming for all of us. There are many who believe that these were indeed Paul's last words, and they shed light on what kind of man he was, and suggest what kind of person God intends you and I to be. Here's Paul, if you will. And precious Lord, take my hand. Thank you for that. I can imagine, it was written probably, this century or last century? But I can imagine Paul in his prison cell singing "Precious Lord, Take My Hand" as he's waiting to be delivered to the executioner. Precious Lord, take my hand. His days are numbered. He's in prison and will soon be led to his death. And in those precious moments left in his life, he asks for some warm clothes, a few close friends, and some books. The friends and clothes are named. He's clear what particular articles of clothing and which people he wants to be with. Paul's request for this cloak, he says, bring me my winter cloak. Winter's coming. Reminded me of a story I heard recently about a widower who he wore the same coat every day for 20 years. It was an old coat when his wife took it and sewed a new lining into it. But he wore it faithfully during her extended illness and then continued to wear it. He was afraid to have it cleaned because he thought if they cleaned it, it would fall apart. And he dared not let anyone repair it because he realized the coat would be different when he got it back. And only after he had died did the family realize what the coat was about. It was his way of knowing that his wife loved him. She had repaired that coat. She had sewn a new lining in it. And every time he put it on, it was as if her arms wrapped around him when he felt the lining of the coat. And when he died, there was a piece of paper in the pocket of the coat. It was a passage of Scripture. Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am the Lord your God, who takes hold of your right hand and says to you, do not fear, I will help you. I will strengthen and uphold you with my own righteous hand. You see, not only was his wife holding him, so was God. Paul's cloak probably didn't have the same meaning for him, nor did it have any meaning. Any baseball players here? Anybody ever, did you have a special jersey or socks you wore?
Yeah.
Yeah? Did you not take them off? I mean, you know how baseball players will not take their socks off until the end of this? Yeah. I don't think Paul was wearing that cloak that way. It wasn't a lucky cloak. It was something that kept him warm. He was cold in that prison cell. Maybe he had some special memories associated with it. Maybe it was just a coat. The people he names are people with whom he had worked. While he hadn't always agreed with them, he knew these were trusted and faithful friends with whom he could confide. My own sense is that he wants to leave them with a final word of encouragement for their continued ministry. He wants to remind them, I've done what is necessary in my time. Now, you must do what's necessary in your time. Or maybe these were people he knew had an experience of answered prayers. If I were sitting in a prison cell waiting for my execution, I would want people near me who I knew were faithful prayers, whose prayers had been heard in the past and had been answered. So he names this cloak he wants. He names the people he wants. We don't know the exact reasons, but we're sure of what do we ask for. There's no confusion. But then I started thinking about these books and parchment. We don't know what they are. I've been thinking about it all week. Maybe I'll share with you some of my theories. My first idea is maybe he's asking for the first draft of Mark's Gospel. He either wants to read it for himself or more like Paul, he probably wants to edit it, change it a little bit. There would be Luke's presence important. Luke, had an early copy of Mark's Gospel. And Paul knew that Luke was a better storyteller than Mark. Maybe Luke could help make Mark more interesting with the Gospel. Well, that's a theory. If it were Paul's intention, there's no evidence that the meeting ever took place. We do know that Luke had an early version of Mark's Gospel, as I said, when he wrote his own. But there's nothing to suggest Paul had anything to do with either of those. But the real problem with this theory and with the so what question is, what would that say about Paul? What would it mean for us if we knew what his books were he wanted? My second theory, maybe, church conference is coming up, right? Maybe he wanted church records. Maybe he wanted the membership records. Maybe he wanted baptism records. Maybe he wanted financial records. Bring me the books, Paul says. I want to audit them. On the one hand, I don't think there's any reason for such books to be kept, but on the other hand, I know we keep them today. And if I were sitting on death row as a pastor, I could see wanting to review the list of people that I'd baptized, the list of people I'd married, those people I'd been in ministry with, to give thanks for them, to pray for them one last time, to pray for those people who would remain after I died. You know, the financial records would be more dubious, but I remember as a Habitat volunteer being in a number of places around the world, getting a list of the people who had donated to me. So maybe Paul wanted one last time, as a missionary, to review the financial supporters during their years of ministry, to pray for them one last time. Bring me the books. May have been Paul's attempt to make a personal assessment of his life ministry. Where have I been? What have I done? Whose lives have been changed? You know, it's important for each of us to do that periodically, to take stock and do a self-assessment of our ministry. Whether you're lay or clergy, we're all in ministry. How many lives have we touched? How faithful have we been? Who will carry the message we've carried after we've gone? Those are important questions to ask. And it was doubtful that Paul had such records to review. It was helpful to remember the importance of periodic reviews of our life's work and ministry. Some of us go many, many years without evaluating our situation and pursue our life, or spend our lives pursuing the wrong goals, the wrong objectives. I don't want to be one of those people in my next 20 years of ministry. And I don't think you want to be that way either. Know what your goals are. So my last theory about Paul's books, what most scholars believe, Paul was asking for the sacred scriptures he knew and loved, the ones he had read as a child, the prophets Isaiah, things he never tired of hearing, the stories he learned in the synagogue and later used to preach in the church. There were the hymns he sang every week, the hymns we call psalms. Bring me the books so I can read again what God has said to us, so I can hear them one last time before I die. These are words of comfort and cheer, words of encouragement and hope. These are the words from the one who has remained faithful to the end. People have let Paul down. And we didn't read this part. He has a long list in this reading from 2 Timothy of people who had let him down. His clothes were worn out. But God has remained faithful with him. Bring me my books so I can study them some more. I want to make sure I understand every aspect of the story of God's grace. Up to the final days of his life, Paul was serving as a role model for us. One who never tired of hearing the scripture. One who never tired of learning. One who never tired of finding new understanding. Paul understood clearly that yesterday's trophies do not win today's races. He may be in the last lap of life, but the race is not over. So he continues to train. He continues to study, even as he sits on death row. And what does that say about us? Us who are free, us who have the complete liberty. How many of us still find time to study? How many of us still find time to come together and pray? I think Paul is saying to us, to Timothy, you're never too old to learn. You're never too old to hear the stories. You're never too old to share what you've read with someone else. In 2 Timothy, Paul's appointment with death is coming soon. And while he waits, he wants to see his friends. He wants to ensure that he's properly attired. And he wants something to read. Have any of you ever been in a doctor's office?
I think you got unanimous.
Yeah. Have any of you ever, do you take something to read with you when you're in the doctor's office?
Yes.
How many of you get to see the doctor immediately? Yeah, right. I got to where I would take a magazine with me. I would see an article I wanted to read so I could go when I'm sitting there in the waiting room, read it while I'm waiting on the doctor. Last time when we went, he saw me immediately. I was almost mad because I wanted to read that article. I imagine Paul there waiting, reading. And the vision I have of it is waiting outside an elevator. He's pushed the button and he's waiting for the door to open. All he can take inside the elevator is what he can remember. I've stood with many people outside the doors of the operating room. It's the same place. Friends and family come to wish us well. But Paul wants to review his notes one more time, because he knows at the end of that elevator ride, he will be where we will all be one day, looking over at the counter at God. Paul was ready. The question that this text asks us is, are we ready? So I go back to those questions that got me thinking about this text today. If you knew you were going to die tomorrow, what would you do today? Where would you spend your time? Who would you want to be with? What are the things we talk about? Think about that this week. Amen.